Hello and welcome to a scene for Vampire by Gaslight. Today, Christian Fortescue is investigating the murder of an unfortunate woman of the night, which has occurred in an inn towards the north of the city. And strangely enough, he has rather more connections to these people than the police might have, and rather more concern.
Christian takes some time to get ready in the evening, partially because of makeup and prosthetics, shall we say, and partially because he doesn't make a beeline for this part of town, but careful to make sure that any of his high society associates would be safely tucked up in their beds by now. And it's in the hour of the wolf that Christian makes his way to the north end of town. It's dark, and occasionally the beam of light will light his footsteps on the path. He's chosen a more middle-class form of attire than he normally would have. He's not wearing anything particularly affluent to mark him out, but his clothes are clean and well maintained. And a few of the girls may notice the sound of his cane. It may be familiar to them.
The north of the city is generally poorer than the south, but for the north side of the city, this neighbourhood is fairly well kept. It's where a lot of the more middle class people live. Obviously, a lot of the middle class live towards the south of the city, tending to the needs of the rich people. But poor people have needs as well. So this is the kind of area where a lot of the people who own their own shops but sell things fairly cheaply live. And the inn itself is the kind of place. It's the kind of place where you can rent a room relatively cheaply. And without too much fuss, but where you'll wake up in the morning without needing to get dipped for fleas. It's a decent kind of place. It is the travel lodge of its time.
Yeah. Christian will make his way into the inn and look around to see how busy it is.
The main room is relatively busy, not overly busy at this time of night. There's a few people drinking. There's a few ladies hanging around. There's a group in the corner that seem to be celebrating something. It's not packed, but it's not empty. It's just enough to kind of be ticking over.
He makes his way to the bar and takes off his bowler hat, placing it down on the surface.
Good evening, sir. Can I get you something?
A shorter whiskey, please.
Yes, sir. And the barmaid will quickly deal with that. Like I said, it's not that busy. Between the barmaid and the barman, because there's one of each, they're getting everyone seen. There isn't any queues for drinks, but they are busy enough that they're moving most of the time.
Once my drink is to me and I paid for it, I'll take it into an empty booth and watch people for a little while. See what happens. Doubt that much will happen at all, but I'm just sort of curious the general feel of this bar.
Well, the ladies that are provocatively dressed do get one visitor, and one of them will disappear somewhere. But generally, people are just kind of doing their own thing. There's about 5 or 6. There were 6. There are now 5 of these ladies hanging out at a table.
Well, that's a group.
Yeah, and but there's very little doubt as to what they are there for, and when people approach them, they kind of pay all their attention to the person, if you see what I mean. It being indoors, there's less of a passing traffic and more of people that are specifically coming here and getting a room and company at the same time.
One wonders if you could use presents without saying anything.
Or, definitely.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, you can use or. More than that is probably difficult, but for or you can manage.
I think the success is, say, the number of targets, not the... so I think with that it's 3 people that I get the attention of.
Yep.
Christian looks towards the table. Yeah, and he just gives one of his intense green stares. There's
To be
not
fair, you will get all of their attention anyway because they're looking for business.
It's not a uncomfortable stare. It's quite a. It's the best way to put it. An interested one, perhaps.
Looking for some company, mister? Can be awfully lonely.
Perhaps all of you ladies would like to join me for a moment, and Christian will try and catch either the barmaid or the barman on the way past to order some drinks for the table.
Do you have any particular preference on which of them it is? Or are you waiting for them to squabble?
I'm waiting. I'd like them all to come over. But, in general, what do they look like? You probably will have a preference.
Some of them are prettier than other ones, obviously. But they're all relatively good looking, relatively clean looking. Like I said, they're not exactly street walking. They're not exactly street walking, but it is fairly obvious what they're there for.
Do any of them have red hair? It's Scotland.
It is Scotland. Let's see.
Oh, just a second.
No, none of them have red hair. I was going to say on a plus or a neutral one of them would do, but no, none of them have red hair. The one with the red hair has just gone upstairs. Do 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 do.
Sorry about that. Okay.
Okay,
So,
the one with the red hair has just gone upstairs.
oh, bugger.
Rolled a fake dice, you got a minus.
Well, Christian's not going to be particularly interested then. He's not going to be more flirtatious than normal. He has a bit of a soft spot for redheads. But,
I'm sure Angelique would be appalled and offended.
well, it's not something she would particularly want to know about. But the woman that he tried to sire that died was redheaded. So, let's get back to the table at hand. See if I could attract two of them to come and join me for a drink.
Quite easily. I mean, if you wanted to, you could probably just join them at their table.
Yeah, I might do that.
But then you'd probably look like a pimp.
I'm not really worried what I look like.
Okay,
Um,
that's fine.
he sits down at the table and he will order drinks for the table. And take his hat off. He might look like a policeman, but it's up to you whether or not any of them know who he is.
Fake dice again. Nope.
Yeah.
So yeah, none of them know who he is. But you know the kind of people that they are.
Mm. How's business, ladies?
Well, going about the same as usual. It's always nice to have a bit of gentleman company now and then.
Yes. I was a bit concerned it might have declined after the recent events that took place.
Yes, well, it did for a few nights. It seems to be picking back up again.
Did you know the girl?
They give you a bit of an odd look, but they've had a few oddly morbid people come through recently, as well as the coppers. Yeah, she was like a sister to us. You can be pretty sure they're exaggerating.
Perception, empathy.
Yeah, they knew her, but they care a lot less than they're pretending to right now.
He gives them.
They're putting on a show for you, basically.
The woman that said that gets a sort of a knowing look. Like I know. It's with a smile, but it's. I know you're talking bullshit, basically.
Yep. And she gives you one back, like in the job description. I mean, when your job includes telling people how much you love them when they know full well.
I know. I never really thought about it that way. Do people ask for love? A very interesting question.
It varies. Some just want to tumble. Some they want someone they can't have.
The girlfriend
They make do.
Yes. No, I'm not a policeman. I'm sure that's the first thing that the policeman would say. But You can ask around, find out who I am. I'm neither a policeman or a gang lord, but I have a special interest in your community and keeping it secure.
There's a bit of a knowing smirk there at what your special interest might be.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Special interest in making sure that the community is safe and well. Because I like to visit it.
When there are individuals who would seek to put girls in danger and point blameful fingers at members of my own class, then we have a problem. Because people rarely stop at one once they do these sort of things.
Yes, well, I doubt they'll be coming back here. That's why we have been, to be honest.
It's very interesting that a married couple,
Said they were newlyweds.
would be interested in adding a third to the party. And why people of their particular affluence would, with no offence meant, not go to some of the more exclusive areas for such things.
Well, they looked wealthy for here, but not necessarily wealthy for elsewhere, if you get my drift. And at the time, it rather looked like the gentleman had control of the situation, with a rather uncertain wife. Wouldn't be the first time that a gentleman has convinced a younger, naive lady to attempt things to make sure that he is happy with the situation.
No. But it's what came after that startles me. If she was as naive as she pretends to be, or seem to be to you, then I'm sure that the violence would have terrified her. Enough to cause some sort of a racket upstairs that somebody would have noticed. It's a little bit suspicious to me, is what I'm saying.
Oh, definitely. And looking back on it, can't help but think that things were not as they appeared, but that's looking back.
Did this gentleman have any particular mannerisms that stood out to you? I understand that you ladies have a knack for noticing things about men.
He didn't seem to be drinking so much as the other guys. Came in with a large group that seemed to be helping him celebrate. But I recognised some of those guys, and They said they never met him before that night.
Hmm.
That since he was buying and seemed to want company and a bit of a laugh, they went along with it. But they'd never seen him before, nor her.
It's certainly not done by to bring a young lady of acceptable propriety to a drinking establishment. So he,
As I said,
has very little
the
care.
first time.
No, it wouldn't be the first time, but one has to scoff at his lack of respect for his lady companion.
And scoff we did, right up until the body was found.
Was there something in particular? Did any of you try and become employed, or did he pick that girl specifically?
He sent the wife over.
And she picked.
She did.
Hmm. Could have been just luck of the draw. Or they could have wanted someone a little bit more trusting, less streetwise.
Not exactly.
No?
No. She definitely wasn't the trusting type.
Hmm.
I saw the look in her eyes. She had no pity for that lady. Most of us might have felt a bit bad about a young newlywed not knowing what she was supposed to be doing.
I think that appropriate measures, the police are not going to do anything about this. The police could care less.
I think if the murderer was dropped in their laps, they'd probably do something about it, but
Considering this isn't the first time that women have gone missing recently.
yeah.
Someone thinks that they're a very easy market. This particular someone hasn't come up against myself. And I do believe they would find it extremely difficult to manoeuvre themselves when I have put my presence in this area. He takes a sip from his whiskey.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, mister, but like I said, doubt they'll be coming back here. Not when we've seen them. They might be trying it somewhere else. I definitely agree. Don't seem likely they'd stop at one.
No. A couple of times and you get the taste for it. And this would be a time very soon where I'll be a married man and won't be able to linger in these areas. So I'd rather nip this in the bud while it was fresh.
Well, if you're looking for something to tide you over, you know where to come.
Yes. He looks towards the stairs. I think I was a little bit late this evening. But he finishes his drink. I wish you the best of luck.
You too. I mean,
If you can't exactly turn down money, but be wary whose money you accept.
yeah, I think we're all quite aware of the risks. But if you've got mouths to feed,
He smiles, knowing well the plight, and heads. Any evidence would likely have been tampered with by now. Too touched by many different hands for him to investigate. All he can really do is hope that the next time these two strike, they make mistakes. But
well, the sheets probably haven't, but they might very well be at the police station or
they
there.
haven't changed the sheets.
No. What I'm saying is they will have changed the sheets. So the blood-soaked sheets won't have been touched by many hands. They'll have been taken off and put somewhere. They'll
Yeah.
probably be at the police station or burned, but I'm just saying not everything will have been touched by lots of people. Just everything in the room at the moment.
Do you want to sneak into a police station?
Might not have to do too much sneaking, to be honest. With the sheer amount of influence that the Seneschal has over the police, if you don't mind them sending a runner and you happen to wait 15 minutes or so to get the okay, probably be allowed in.
Okay, I'll give the I was about to say I'll give the sheriff a call, and I realised there isn't a telephone.
Yep.
I will have to send a runner to the sheriff as I go into the police station to use the telephone.
Okay, the police stations all have telephones.
Yeah, I thought as much.
And the one that is closest to the Seneschal's place will send a runner to him.
And I will.
And after a good 15 minutes wait, you'll be allowed access to pretty much whatever you want.
Christian will. He's still going to ring the senator. And let him know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Going to tell him. Well, first of all, he's going to fiddle around with the phone for about 15 minutes, not knowing how the fuck to use it, until some young constable inevitably shows him.
The constable will probably phone through to the other station, to be honest. The Seneschal doesn't have a phone, but he does live near the police station that does have a phone, so
Oh my
they'll send a
God.
runner for him.
So complicated.
Yep, yes it is. But, like I said, they'd send a runner, he'd come back, they'd
It'd be
phone back
easier
to the
just to
police
summon
station.
him.
They'd phone back to
Very
the police
happy.
station, the constable would call you over to answer the phone call.
Right. The senator will hear Christian's huff of impatience as the connection is finally put through. And he will just say to him that he has strong reason to believe that the murders in the Hog's Inn were vampire related. Once the constable's out of the room.
I mean, if you just use the euphemism related to the court.
Related to the court, yes.
He'll say, okay, ask for Constable Peterson. He'll take charge of the police side of things and tell Detective Sampson to sign off on your investigation.
Alright. We potentially have 2 suspects who are affiliated with this matter and have significant power to compel others to do their bidding, which is a little bit of a problem.
Peter and Mary Jones are our suspects, but unfortunately I doubt that's their real names.
No. I will have a look around and see what I can find.
Well, like I said, if you take Constable Peterson with you, he's cleared on pretty much everything. So don't worry about talking frankly in front of him. And Detective Sampson knows enough to keep his mouth shut. I wouldn't fill him in on the finer details, but what if you want to file anything with the police for further action, just get him to sign it and say that it's his investigation.
Alright. And I will report back to you with my findings later on. Over and out, he says questioningly. Not really knowing how to end a phone call.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
And then there'll be the sound of the phone hanging up.
He hangs up the phone and relays the information to the relevant officers of the police chief's orders, and would like to see the body.
And Constable Peterson will take you down and will ask the mortuary assistant to step out. But he'll just be standing there, waiting for you to look over the body. And basically, he's just there to follow you around and say, yep, it's all cleared.
Christian will take off his gloves and roll up his sleeves. And gently, he'll make it look like he's examining the body physically as he uses Auspex. I'm going to spend a willpower on this as well. Difficulty 8.
Actually, given the strength of the impression that her rather drawn-out murder will have left on her, I'm quite happy with difficulty 7.
Okay.
So 5 successes, which is a lot of information. You have a very clear picture of these 2 individuals. A feeling of ties at the wrists and hands, and something in her mouth. Pain in her thighs and across her chest, mingled with intense pleasure that you can recognise as the kiss, followed by just pain by itself, and the sensation of bleeding out at the same time as the gentleman in question having sex with her, and his lady friend wrapped around, seems to be perched behind him, almost as though they're moving together.
Interesting.
So you've got a very clear view of their faces, but you don't recognise them.
Is the skin cold? against
His is.
her skin. Yeah. Yeah, it pretty much confirms it, doesn't it? Oh dear, oh dear. Christian will try and maintain his composure. It's not a particularly pleasant experience.
It's really very unpleasant.
Yeah.
If you look at the body, you will notice deep cuts into the thighs, which is presumably where she lost the majority of her blood. Not deep enough to hit the femoral artery, so it would have been slow. But she definitely bled out from those.
Christian, he braces his hand on the table a little bit as he walks around. He's trying to keep his composure straight while the feeling lasts. Very intense, uncomfortable feeling. These two individuals, he says, looking at the young constable who's probably wondering what the hell he's doing.
Nope, he knows better than to wonder. He's just standing there. He literally is just standing there. But when you start talking to him, he takes out a notepad.
The act of killing this woman was sexual in nature. She was penetrated while she was dying. So it seemed that both participated in this obscene act. Christian does actually look a little bit disturbed by this.
Mm-hmm. Whereas Constable Peterson is just noting the information down.
Can I make an educated guess what kind of knife it was? What is my intelligence? Intelligence investigation, I suppose.
Yep.
Not really my... It's not a bad roll, because I've got intelligence 4, but... Just
One success.
Yeah.
You can tell that it wasn't a knife.
What was it?
That you probably would have needed 2 successes for. But judging by the placement, it might have been something attached to fingers. Or it might have been something kind of claw-shaped, or it's hard for you to tell. It's not... It definitely wasn't as sharp as the claw marks that you've seen from the various different creatures. And it definitely wasn't a knife. The wounds are too wide and furrowed. But it's hard to tell what it was. It might have been... it kind of looks like someone might have taken a statue and just sharpened it slightly and used it to scratch it, or something. It's hard for you to tell.
The wounds here were not made with a knife. They were made with some sort of digital scratching implement. Hard to say.
We suspected some kind of metal nail cover.
Possible. What do we know about this woman here, other than her occupation?
Denise Wilson, mother of three, all three already in the workhouse before the incident in question. Not really the maternal sort, but children by different fathers is something of a hazard of this line of employment.
Yes.
The youngest is 2.
Very well. I think that it's quite difficult to police this area, I understand. I mean, you cannot stop everybody who pays for a night with a prostitute. But
Wouldn't have the space to stuff them into the cells.
I think it's, from my experience as a investigator, people often start with prostitutes because they're easy prey, and then move on to something more daring when they have their confidence up. If these two individuals are as persuasive as I've heard, I doubt it will be very long before you have innocent girls of more decent means on your slabs. If this is not properly investigated, you understand?
Well, I'm just here to back you up, sir.
Yes. I will push for more inquiry on this murder, because I feel that with the growth coming to Edinburgh as it is, the streets need to be safe for everybody. I'm sure your superiors would agree.
I'm sure they would, sir, but things being stretched as they are, and I'm guessing, pardon my forwardness, that this matter might have something to do with, shall we say, nocturnal people. So we might not want to involve too many of the others.
He shoots this guy a look.
The Seneschal did say that Peterson was cleared on most matters.
Yeah, so one can assume that he's a ghoul.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just going to nod and put my normal gloves back on after washing my hands.
Which might also be why he didn't bother asking how you knew these things.
Hey, you seem like, Ripper Stroon, Sherlock and stuff. People can just look at bodies and decide these things.
They can.
They totally can. Totally feasible.
Yeah, but it would still raise eyebrows.
So Christian is going to put his gloves on before saying any more on the matter, and come out of the morgue.
And Peterson will follow you with a nod to the morgue attendant to allow him to go back in and put the body away.
Did they have any of the money on her body when she was left, or did they keep their money with them?
It's hard to say, sir. The body was found by the innkeeper.
Yes.
There was no money there when we arrived on the scene.
I'm sure he helped himself. Thank you.
I doubt he would have gone through the lady's clothes if they'd been on her at the time. But they weren't.
No. Thank you, Constable. You've been most helpful.
If you need anything looked into, just let me know. As I said, I'm here to be your backup. You're the detective on this case, though Detective Sampson's in charge of signing for everything. My job is to kick in doors and pull people in for questioning. The rest of it is on your shoulders, I'm afraid.
He nods.
So, is there anywhere Christian will be going next? Or any tasks he will set for the constable to do?
Okay, well, I think we can draw the evening to a close. I have matters to deal with at home. It's getting a bit late, so I will forward the findings to the Seneschal.
As will I, sir.
Good evening.
He does not seem surprised in the slightest at the use of term seneschal.
No, seeing as I already know he's a ghoul, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I put on my bowler hat and I head off home.
Mm-hmm.
I will speak to the Seneschal about it. But yeah, it's pretty safe to say that it's really obviously vampires.
Yep.
But until they strike again, not much can be done.
And there the scene will end.